Why is everything always working out? Hi, I'm Laura and welcome to the Self-Concept Bestie podcast. Why is everything always working out? Something that I say to myself all the time. But a lot of the time, people will say to me, it's not working out though. In my life, it isn't working out. And I've been thinking about how people perceive what is working out and what isn't. And try to get them to understand that the perception that everything is always working out, that's where you need to start. Do you think that life's happening to you? Or do you think it's happening for you? So that mindset of everything is always working out, it allows you to see what's happening in the present moment and decide to believe that it's happening for a reason, to serve you, to lead you to the life that you are building. So I was sitting in the car and my little boy spilled chocolate milk everywhere. Yep, chocolate milk. Now, we could have had a meltdown. I breathed and I said to myself, okay, Laura, everything is always working out. Everything is always working out. I got the tissues, we cleaned up what we could until we got home. In that moment, was it working out? No, it was not working out. But did I choose to believe that it was working out in that moment? Did I choose to decide, okay, we're going to breathe, we're going to pause, and we're going to say, you know what, it is working out. There's a reason for this. It's made us a couple of minutes late for where we were going. We've just missed a crash. We've missed every light being red on the journey home. Got home, cleaned it up. Great. I was sitting with my mum and she's like, but Laura, it's not always working out. Like there's things happen in people's lives. It's not working out. It's not good. And I'm like, you are right. And I understand why people don't believe that things are working out. And I was trying to explain to her that it's all your perception. It's how you choose to look at it. And I was able to find some stories in her life to be able to relate it to. So my mum, when she was 16, I think it was 16, she was meeting a guy for a date. And she got stood up. But that night, because she got stood up, was the night that she met my dad. So I explained to her that in that moment when she got stood up on that date, that didn't feel like anything was working out for her right there. She'd just been stood up. She felt embarrassed and shamed. But if he had showed up, she wouldn't have met my dad. She wouldn't have me and my sister. So in the moment when she got stood up, yes. Was it working out for her? No. But actually, when we look at the incidents that happened after that, was that actually working out for her? Yes, it was. When you look back on certain things that have happened in your life, have you ever said, that's why that ended up happening? That's why I needed to take that turn. That's why I went into that shop at that time. Because life has a funny way of always working things out for us, especially when you're looking for it, especially when you believe that it is all working out. That story I've just told you, that is on a, like, that's a bigger scale, okay? So you just think about, though, if you can start to perceive and believe, really have that belief that even when it feels like it isn't working out, you believe that it is, it's working out for something bigger and better to happen, to come along, to create the life that you're building. Automatically, that strips you right out of victim mode. It strips you right out that life's always happening to me, nothing ever goes right. That mindset already starts perpetuating so much more of all of that negativity into you. So when you can start to focus on that, you know what, it is working out. I'm not sure how, and I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure when, but it is working out. Then that's what's when your world, what you're seeing, starts to change. It starts to reflect all of that back to you, and things align to work out. We're always so focused that nothing's going our way. But actually, when we start to focus on the things that are going our way and the things throughout our day that are working out, we start to see it easier. It starts to flow effortlessly. Just think about a day that you've been driving and all the lights have been green. You've probably not even realised all the lights have been green. But sure as hell, the day that all the lights are red, you'll notice it. And what would be a typical saying? Oh, I'm in a rush. All the lights are going to be red. Typical. This always happens to me. I'm asking you right now, have you heard yourself say that? Have you heard yourself say, typical, this always happens to me? Typical, knew that. And guess what it always is? It's always all of the negative stuff that we typically knew was going to happen. It's always the negative stuff that we seem to bring into our life because that's where our focus is. That's where our attention is. But have you ever asked yourself, what if I stop focusing on the negatives and I started focusing on the good? So that day that the red lights all the lights were red, you're like, okay, I know this is working out. There is a reason that all the lights are red. That's preventing me from being in a crash in 5 minutes' time. These lights are red for a reason. And you started noticing every time the lights were green, you're like, oh, yes, everything's working out. The lights are green. Because then guess what? You start to notice all of the good things that are working out in your life in your favour. Maybe went for a job and you've not got the job. Do you get angry at the world? Like, I can't believe that they didn't employ me. Or do you believe, actually, that job obviously wasn't for me and there's something bigger and better coming along? Because how many times has that happened? Let's think about it with houses. You're looking for houses on the market and you find one. You fall in love with that, but you get outbid. You're like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. We're never going to be able to find our home. That was the one. But then a month later, a couple of weeks later, day later, you're scrolling still looking for these houses and one comes up that is even more perfect than the one that you had fell in love with. And in that moment, you know, there was a reason your offer got declined because that was the house for you. Because your dream home was there. But if you had got that house, you wouldn't have been able to get that one. And that's when it comes down to you, your perspective in that moment when you don't feel like things are working out. What story are we going to create? What meaning are we going to give it? Are we going to allow that to bring us down and start feeling sorry for ourselves and going into victim mode and be like that? Why is everything happening to me? Because I'm here to tell you, it's actually happening for you. The thing that keeps on not working out and not working out and not working out. Is there anything that we could do differently to change that? That's what you need to think. Okay, this keeps on occurring in my life. How do I go? What can I do differently? What can I be saying differently? What could I be speaking differently? When you change your perception, you put on a different set of glasses to see the world and see what is happening in your life to you, then you have the power to start to change it. You can start to place your focus where you want it to go in the more positive direction, in the way that everything is working out. So, yes, in my life, do I believe that everything is always working out? Yes, I do. Some people don't get that. Hence why I'm trying to explain it in a really simple way that people can start to think, you know what? What if it is working out? What if she's onto something? Our mind is like conscious bias. So what we speak, what we believe, our brain will find a way to prove that true to us. So go and listen to what you say to yourself. And look at your life and see if that's exactly what's happening. And if it is, we need to change that chatter. We need to change that inner voice, the beliefs, that programming that we are running on. Because you get to decide. You get to challenge that. And if there's one thing I would say, if you're listening to this and you're still a bit like, yeah, I'm still not sure about this, I challenge you. I challenge you to just, for the next week, when things feel like they're going wrong every day, everything is always working out. Say it to yourself, everything is always working out. Even when it maybe feels like it isn't, just breathe and know, you know what, everything is always working out. Choose that. Because what's the worst that could happen? What is the worst that could happen? That's what I want you to ask yourself. By me saying everything is always working out and starting to focus on the things that are working out, what's the worst that could happen? Nothing. Actually, you might find that the things that actually are working out have always been there. You've just not been focused on them. You're just not been putting your awareness on them. And life might just start to get lighter. Life might just start working out in your favour. Everything might just start unfolding perfectly. So please, I challenge you today to start saying everything is always working out. And please come back and let me know. You'll be able to get me on TikTok, Laura Self Concept Bestie. Come and drop me a DM, please. And come and tell me what has actually worked out for you. What shift in you has that created just by placing your awareness to look at the good things that are actually happening? Allow that conscious bias in your brain to start proving to you that everything is always working out. Remove when it's not and start saying that it is, and let your brain prove it to you. Let you start seeing all of the beautiful things in life working out perfectly for you. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, today is already an amazing day.